Hmm.
What? I didn't do it.
No, I did it when I cleaned.
Yeah, how dare you?
Here we go. Fixed it. I'm so tiny.
Synopsis. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna need that.
Got it.
Ow.
Don't worry, I'm just over here.
The only reason you're over there right now is because of the recording and the mic. Just, you gotta adjust your body.
I am the star of the show.
You always have been.
It's not true.
It is true.
You're the star of the show. We all know it.
We have this one feather that doesn't want to freaking cooperate.
It's been misbehaving all day.
It has. Alrighty. Yeah. I don't really have anything to say at the beginning of this, so should we just get into it, or?
I suppose.
Alrighty. Sounds good. What's wrong? Headache?
Yeah.
Did you take some ibuprofen?
No, I will probably have to break.
But if it's starting now, wouldn't you like to get ahead of it?
That's what a rational thinking individual might say. I am neither of those things.
We've seen you play nonary. We know. Finally got my next.
Congratulations.
Oh, I angered the rest of the hairs by putting the blue hair over there.
Oh, look what you dang on all did. Okay.
Okay.
Got it up. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent schmexcellent.
This isn't my first rodeo.
It seems like it might be your first rodeo.
It's not.
Okay.
This is a 2-for week. We haven't done 2 CityWave cinemas back to back before.
Over a year we haven't done that. It's pretty impressive.
We're either late or we're on time. There is no early.
Jesus Christ.
Not when it comes to CityWave Cinema. Alright, here we go. I would like to start this off by saying the Motion Picture Association of America has no idea what to do when it comes to rating movies.
They never have, to be fair. Especially back in the olden days.
Because I was terrified to watch this movie because it has a higher rating than Grease from an earlier time.
Blazing Saddles rated R.
Which means it supposedly should be worse, and I think Grease deserves a higher rating than Blazing Saddles
Grease should be rated R. Grease should be rated R.
I'm America.
I'm also here.
That's James.
Yep.
And someday we'll learn how to do an intro.
That's not true.
Nope.
No, we never will, because it's funnier this way, in my opinion.
We watched Blazing Saddles, which, if you had told me, was just the Western version of
Robin Hood Men in Tights?
Or Spaceballs, or
any other Mel
Young
Brooks property?
Frankenstein. I would have been much more inclined to watch it than I was tonight. Oh, speaking of which, I have to add Spaceballs to our list.
Oh God, no!
Before I forget, because James has never seen Spaceballs.
I have a long-standing love for Star Wars in my heart.
Yeah, well.
Are you gonna make me suffer through that godforsaken hellhole of a movie?
It's so good.
I don't believe you. You said it was bad earlier.
No, it's so bad it's good.
What? No, that's A Million Ways to Die in the West.
No, that's not that movie.
A Million Ways to Die in the West is bad.
Yes.
Just actually bad.
Yes.
And it's so bad, it's comical that it got made with serious actors in it.
Nope.
No, it's funny that it got made.
No.
It's funny on a meta level. It's not funny because it's good or well written or well acted.
It's not even funny on a meta level.
No, it is though.
Nope, it's not.
I'm positive it is.
All right, we already did that podcast though, so let's do this one. Yeah. This is rated R in the 70s, which
Should inform you that there's going to be an enormous amount of slurs.
apparently is the only thing that constitutes an R rating in the 70s, because there wasn't much else.
I mean, they didn't do full frontal nudity in the 70s, so
They also there wasn't I don't know. It was weird. I felt like
there
I
wasn't
felt like Grease
anything
was
wrong.
worse.
There wasn't anything really wrong with this movie
Other than the
because they make
slurs.
other than the slurs, but they're using words, and Mel Brooks always does this. He uses words in a way to belittle the people who use them incorrectly, and it's fucking magic.
The start of this movie annoyed the shit out of me though.
What, the song in the credits?
It was the whipping sound, the continuous overuse of the whipping noise with the credits switching every time there was a whip. It was I hated it.
Okay, footnote about that song.
Okie dokie. The song wasn't the problem. I thought the song was funny, haha, but
Extra footnote about that song.
okay.
Mel Brooks takes the title of the movie to this composer, right? This guy. And he
Mm-hmm.
brings him a set of lyrics because it said in the thing that he wrote the lyrics for the song. So he takes it to this guy called Frank, and Frank does the whole song, but Mel Brooks never told him that the movie was like a parody or a comedy. So Frank wrote this really serious Western theme, akin to what you would find in other Western movies of the time,
Mm-hmm.
or even earlier.
Okay.
So all of that was done in seriousness, and then the rest of the movie that follows is the comedy that you know it to be. And he was deathly afraid that Frank wouldn't compose the song if he knew it was a comedy, because Frank was a serious guy. So they kind of got away with a little bit of murder there, but Frank thought the movie was good, so it all turned out.
I still feel bad that Frank got lied to.
Oh, Frank didn't get lied to actively. He got lied to passively. In that, first of all, it was Mel Brooks. He should have known it was a fucking comedy. And second of all, it was Mel Brooks. He should have known that something was up.
This movie is funnier now because you see Technicolor get announced as like a real exciting thing, and you just go, old times.
The olden days.
The olden days.
See, the movie came out in 1974.
The first
50 years ago next year.
See, I'm still
Yeah?
stuck in the
Yeah,
early 2000s
yeah.
where the 70s were like 30 years ago.
In 2004, it was 30.
Yeah.
2014, it was 40. Next year, this movie's going to be 50 years old.
I've never left the early 2000s.
Yeah. Well, boy.
It's like the 90s were 10 years ago, you know.
No, yeah, I get it.
I have a thought.
Okay, what's that?
The Wild West is just a D&D campaign.
Kind of.
There were bards,
Yes.
there were barbarians,
Mm,
there were fighters, there were knights. It's not a class or anything, I'm just saying.
what knights?
Well, like the sheriffs were knights. Pew.
Sheriffs were gunslingers at best. The Wild West is a bad place.
The Wild West, but it's basically like a D&D. Well, the reason I was thinking is because they were doing that song at the beginning,
Uh-huh.
and it was all about like the town hero, and I was like, they did a lot of those songs. Like those were real things that happened in the West. Like they would write songs about like, all the famous like sharpshooters, and they would like sing them around campfires. And so those are the bards, and like I don't know, it just the Wild West is a D&D campaign.
I'll write something.
Please don't. I won't play that one.
Oh, it'll be great. It'll be
You'll
like-
have to make me Seth MacFarlane's character because I'll just I hate the West.
This sucks. Everything sucks. It's dusty, and I'm gonna die in a million different ways. I'll be like, hey, you get bit by a rattlesnake.
Bye.
Go away.
All done
The
campaign.
people who want to play the game are gonna stay. You fuck off.
To be fair, I told you not to write me in the campaign in the first place. I could be a time traveler.
Man, we're still on this.
Okay. Mel Brooks's name appears way too many times in the credits.
It's probably because he does about 15 different things for the movie.
Yeah. His name appears way too many times in the credits.
He does a lot of work.
Also, as a side note, I'm really glad that we stopped that trend of like putting the credits at the beginning of the movies.
Oh, I think it's good. I like doing that.
Why?
I think it has a time and a place, and I think it is a nice homage to classic film.
But it was so bad that we stopped doing it.
We stopped doing it so we could have jarring intros.
Google why they stopped putting credits at the
Okay.
beginning of movies, because now I want to know.
All right.
There's a joke right at the beginning of the movie that's I've literally heard real life actual people in my life recently say this, where it's only 114 today versus 120, and that's just Texans in this heat wave. 100%. It dropped to 98 the other day, and people were like, "Oh, it's so nice outside," and I was, no. The heat index was still 105, and people were like celebrating because it wasn't 120, which it actually hit as a heat index this week. So, that's my note about that. The movie opens on a railroad being built by racists and worked on by minorities.
Several groups of minorities.
Yes, all of them. Including the Irish.
The Irish were mistreated horribly for most of the time.
No, I wasn't saying that like as a, oh, the Irish aren't a minority thing. I was saying that as like a,
They're included.
all of the minorities. And we also get our first hard R
Bro,
for the N-word.
For the rest of the movie, we just get hard R's.
Yeah. It's not even like somewhat correct because they wouldn't say it with a hard R and with that accent, so they just were doing it for the effect of doing it, which is fine. But it is, wow.
It's very wow.
I also had a very neurodivergent moment where the man in the red shirt,
Lyle. His character's name is Lyle.
I don't
They
care.
don't say his name.
I
ever.
said red shirted fella.
Did you say fella? F-E-L-L-A?
I did.
You did.
It's
I'm proud
right
of you.
there.
I'm proud of you. Proud of your notes.
The red shirted fella is really upsetting to my brain. I don't know why. Every time he was in there, like it was like a physical reaction. Like I could feel it in my spine, and I don't know why. But he upsets me. Oh shoot.
What?
Okay, well I don't remember why, but I wrote this. Oh, I do remember why. Okay, so we're building a railroad, and the white people ask the minorities to sing them a song because back when
they have to be bad guys.
Because back when the minorities were slaves, they sang all the time, and now that they're not slaves, they don't sing anymore. So the minorities start singing, and
They start singing a song by Louis Armstrong, who did not exist in 1874.
And the white people say, no, that's not what we're talking about, and they list a bunch of songs, and they start singing a song. They sing Camptown Ladies, and they start dancing like stereotypical white people.
Oh god, it's bad.
And the note I wrote for this whole scene was the sin, as always, is white people.
Nice.
Thank you. I'm funny sometimes. And then the person who runs the railroad building committee shows up and yells at everybody because nobody's working. He yells at everyone, the minorities, the white people. No one's doing their job, so he yells at everybody, and then he hits one of the red shirted fella on the top of the head. And I have a note here.
Okay.
And James has told me that it's probably on purpose, but I stopped taking notes on stuff because I couldn't tell if it was bad on purpose or bad because it was just bad. And so I'll put it here, and then I won't mention it again for the rest of the movie, but the delayed reaction to being hit on the head is severe, and it was jarring. Not as about as jarring actually as a stage slap later on in the movie, but
I think it's either an issue of the film is a lot more about the comedy of everything and a lot less about being a polished good movie.
okay.
Because it's a ragtag actual dump of a movie. But it's funny. in every way. There's a story that comes out of the lore of this movie. Actually,
There's lore.
no,
Okay.
the lore of the making of the movie. They made the whole thing, right, and they screened it to the Warner Brothers executives, and not like they didn't laugh through the whole movie. None of the execs laughed. So Mel Brooks scheduled another showing to show like just the regular employees of the company, and it was just a banger, nonstop laughter. Everybody thought it was great and funny, and so that convinced Warner Brothers to run the thing. But they did a soft open. They opened it in two theaters, one in New York and I think one in Jersey. No, I don't know. But
Everything's legal in Jersey.
that's true. They did a soft open on it, and it was so popular they had to quickly distribute the film across the country. And I think they made it for like 19 million, and they box officed 119 million in 1970 whatever dollars, 1974.
Hmm.
So that's like a monster of a turnout for this movie. Like it I think it's so good because it doesn't take itself seriously. And I think because everything is so unserious, if you did serious stage combat that looked correct, it would be so disjointed and it would look wrong. Because think about the brawl at the end of the movie. All of it looks like poorly staged stage combat.
They did what we did to make our film look better in our college class and sped
Right,
up the
you sped up the footage.
too.
Right. And it makes sense in that context. If we were smart, we would have rewritten the whole fucking thing to be like that.
I mean, we tried to make something similar without
Kind
meaning
of.
to.
It would have been better if we just straight up parodied superhero movies instead of
Listen,
parodying concepts.
my group did one meta project already. We couldn't do two meta.
No, we could. We could though. Mike's incredible. We could have. We could have done it.
He would have. I feel like the teacher would have been like, didn't you guys do this?
Do you guys have other ideas?
Do you guys have ideas that aren't meta projects?
No. We watch Monty Python and Mel Brooks, and that's all we know. Anyways.
Okay, so that's why I only made one note about it, because I was like, as the more I watched the movie, it kind of established that I was like, oh, so this is purposely bad. I do have a thought, though, in reference to your whole speech there.
Uh-huh.
Do you think that this movie is one of the things that caused Warner Brothers down the line to like make the Animaniacs, which is it has a lot of the same vibes, and like
I'm surprised Mel Brooks isn't attached to Animaniacs at all.
he gets referenced in it several times.
I mean, that's all fine and dandy, but it's very up his alley, and he just doesn't even touch it. It's not his bag.
I mean, cartoons isn't really his bag.
He just was a voice in a new one.
Voicing's different, though.
He's technically listed as executive producer. Anyways,
but I don't know. It was just a thought, because that's basically what, and especially with like the end fight scene. I even mentioned it while we were watching it. Like, it's just very Animaniacs. It's so meta. And Animaniacs is just a meta cartoon. Side note.
Mm-hmm.
Because they sang it twice.
Mm-hmm.
I hate the song Camptown Ladies.
I hold no feelings about that song at all.
Anyways, they find out that there's quicksand that's
at the end of the rails.
At the end of the railroad, which they built the railroad because they make a comment about how his feet are on the rails. So somehow the quicksand grew over some time.
I don't know the rules of quicksand. Quicksand isn't real. We never experienced quicksand.
Quicksand's real.
Quicksand's real in like 4 places.
I did make that note, that movies taught me that quicksand would be a bigger problem in my life. Because I think one person, it's kind of like roundabouts in roadways. I feel like one person heard about and or saw it one time, and then it was everywhere. So like one person put quicksand in the movies, and everyone was like, that's a great thing. And now it's a trope, so now it's in there all the time. It's the same thing with roundabouts. I feel like someone from America went over to Europe and was like, roundabouts are great, let's use these, and then they threw them everywhere and didn't teach anyone how to use them. Anyways.
It's extra funny because quicksand would never ever be found in the location that they found it.
No.
Quicksand
which
is
is
found in
the West.
the coastal regions, riverbanks, marshes, and swamps.
I'm saying the West, but I definitely think it was Texas. I think this movie's set in Texas. They don't make an actual statement, but it's set in Texas. So they send two
They send Bart and the other guy.
2 people to go check out the quicksand who are not important people according to the railroad building person. So they're a minority. They're people of color. And they get stuck in the quicksand. And they yell out that there's quicksand. People come to investigate and save the cart, but leave the people in the quicksand. Which was the guy they throw a rope in and pull the cart out, and he goes, "Wow, we almost lost like a $400 hand cart." And that was my first laugh of the movie. Was that joke, because that was funny. And then the Bart and the other guy use their feet to find the rail and pull themselves out of the quicksand, which is how we know the railroad was built before there was quicksand. Don't try to
really hung up on this quicksand business.
I really.
It so doesn't matter to the rest of the movie, and you're really hung up on it.
But
it barely matters.
I'm governed by logic, and the fact that they built a railroad and then there was quicksand and the railroad is in the it doesn't make any sense.
It must be so boring to live inside your head. Governed by logic, nothing fun can happen.
I'm like 5 steps away from just being Sheldon Cooper.
Chaos exclusively.
Like, my family makes fun of me because there are a lot of similarities between me and Sheldon Cooper, and this is one of them, where I'm getting hung up on this minute logical detail in this movie that is meant to not make sense in any way, shape, or form.
Yep.
Then the owner of the railway like throws them a shovel and tells them to like make themselves useful, like their break's over for laying down.
The foreman. He's the foreman.
The foreman.
Taggart. Yeah. Bad guy.
All I had a question was, what did he want them to do with the shovel?
Any blank amount of work.
But like, did he want them to try to dig up the quick? Like, I was really confused.
It doesn't make sense, and that's on purpose.
I just wanted to know what he wanted them to do with the shovel. Anyways, apparently, because I'm not going to get answers to any of my questions.
You're asking the wrong questions for a movie that doesn't make sense.
Bart whacks Taggart on top of the head with the shovel.
Yep.
And then we go to the owner's... Attorney General's office.
Technically, it's going to benefit from the railway going through Rockridge. So he wants to get the land for cheap.
Okay. Headley is the Attorney General's name.
Yes.
And
Headley Lamar.
I would like to remake this movie. And I only want to remake this movie for the sole purpose of I would like to see Neil Patrick Harris play Headley. That's all.
We should write him a letter and pitch it to him.
He'd probably do it.
He'd be like, I don't think you guys are professional filmmakers, but this idea is solid.
Can I just get royalties on the idea?
Like, you pitch this to Warner Brothers.
Like, it doesn't even have to be a lot, like $100, $200. Just for my name at like the very bottom of credits. Man, proposal.
You're a cheap date. Shit.
It's my 15 minutes of fame. Actually, I already got that, so. They talk about the fact that they want the railway to go through Rockridge and how they're going to do that, and they make a deal that Headley will get the guy that whacked Taggart on the head with the shovel, Bart, hung for hitting him on the head with the shovel.
Yep, gotta murder him.
And then basically the attorney general will look the other way while they rampage through the town and make it cleared out so that they can build the railway through there. Is that what that's
the initial plan, yes.
Yeah. There was a Jewish joke somewhere in the midst of that whole conversation, and I didn't write it down, but it was my second laugh in the entire movie, so it's already better than A Million Ways to Die in the West, because I only laughed once. So this sounds twice now. 2 laughs. 2 laughs from America. Then we go to Rock.
Oh man, you really don't have any indication as to where you are in your notes. Okay.
No, I know where I am. We're going to go to Rock Ridge.
Yeah.
I got it.
All right.
I have memory, not ADHD brain.
Boy, must be nice.
So we go to Rock Ridge where they open the sequence with a song about Rock Ridge and how it's a great place to live. And everyone's happy there, and there's no hint of misery in the town. And I did have a Seth MacFarlane moment where I went, lies, it was the West, everyone was miserable. It's just how it was. It's not like, that's like just a matter of fact. There was no one out there like happy down lucky in the Wild West. Are you gonna try to find happy people in the Wild West? Is that what you're Googling right now? What are you Googling on your phone? Were people happy in the mid 1800s?
Fuck.
He cleared it on accident. All right. And then basically the railroad committee come through and start shooting and pillaging and killing and murdering and all the bad words through the entire town of Rock Ridge. And so then the song changes from happiness to sadness and how their lives suck and they hate that people came here and they just want everyone to go home because they're making their town shitty now that their people are here. And
no, you're right. It was fucking awful in the 1800s.
Told you.
I never disagreed.
And I just wrote that the church choir is native Coloradoans. Because they're all just singing about how everyone moving there made it shitty. And they were happy before everybody else came there.
They're native Austinites?
They're also native Austinites.
Fuck you guys. This town was so cool before all these normies showed up.
It's Coloradoans too, because if you talk to any Coloradoan, the first thing they say, like if you tell them that you moved there, is
from where? California or Texas?
Yep. They don't want anyone there.
And if you answer California or Texas,
they tell you to go home.
Go back to that land you came from.
We don't want you here. As a native Coloradoan, I can say we definitely don't. Please go away. Also, you drove up the prices in my town, and I can't live there anymore. So
now I have to live in Austin,
which also doesn't want us here.
Somehow I got migrated into being the unwanted.
Woo! They also throw dynamite in the church, and that's a hate crime. Just so we're clear.
Yeah, but they hate everybody. So to them, it's just crime.
The town decides that they are going to fight back against the oppressive railroad committee by telegramming the governor to send them a new sheriff because the railroad committee killed their last one.
Yeah.
And that's their whole solution.
Yep.
So
the town of Rock Ridge sucks.
It's the best town in the West. The song said so.
No.
They're happy.
No, they are confused. They got an ice cream shop with one flavor. They aren't happy. They're confused.
They have an ice cream shop in the Wild West. They are thrilled.
He built it with his own hands.
So then we go
to meet the governor.
Played
by Mel Brooks.
And all I have to say is this entire scene is probably the most accurate depiction of politicians I've ever seen in cinema.
Harumph! 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 You harumph!
they're like in my head.
There's jokes about Jews.
In my head, this is what Washington looks like all the time.
It's not in your head, it's real.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they're racist.
They're terrible. They're
the secretary is basically a hooker.
She's just there, tits out.
They're sexist. They don't have a single fucking clue between
they don't have a brain cell.
The 10 of them. Like, that is how politicians are. And all they care about is money.
It's magical.
And sex. Money and sex. Those are the only two things. But money is still somehow greater than sex because money can buy you sex. Anyways, that's my whole story. So the attorney general comes in there to...
He wants to get the governor to sign off on a sheriff that would make the townsfolk of Rockridge fuck
that's
off.
later. That's a different scene. This is the one where he is trying to convince him that they need to obtain Rockridge for the railroad.
Right, which he gets signed off.
Yes. And then there's paddle balls.
Yes, because that's what they're going to pay the Indians with.
And instead they pay the politicians with.
Yep. It's a glorious nightmare of a disaster. The scene is so chaotic. I wish I had seen this movie when I was young.
Paddleball is fucking hard.
It's very hard. I'm always impressed by that one guy who just does it instantly. I'm like, man, fuck you. That's hard.
I don't know why it was ever a toy or why they have lasted this long. Like, people still make paddleballs.
It's hard. It's difficult. It's a difficult toy. It's like the yo-yo.
I hate yo-yos too. Maybe I just hate them because
You hate toys that make you work for it.
Well, no, because I like Jester sticks. I'm good at Jester sticks.
Jester sticks are silly.
They're called devil sticks too.
That's because the devil made them. Now carry on.
Okay. So then they receive the telegram. The secretary reads it out in a sexy voice because that's all women are good for in this age and
that's not true.
movie.
They're also good for being racist.
That Rockridge is requesting a new sheriff.
There you go.
I couldn't not think of the word. I was like mayor, general, so like
you were just really running through every political figure there could be.
Sheriff. And he tells Headley to like basically get them a new sheriff.
Yeah, take care of the details.
And so Headley goes and he's like, fuck, I gotta like do my job. But I also have to like make sure that like my ulterior motives are still being met. So I'll get them a sheriff that they hate. And
that'll do it.
And so he peeks his head out at the execution block and sees Bart and he's like, if I get a person of color sheriff, they'll hate that so much they'll kill him for me. And then I can still go on with my plan of destroying the town of Rockridge. I do my job. I get to win all my bucks, and I still get to build my railroad. So he goes back to the governor's office, and the governor is currently behind a curtain with his secretary, and he's saying not in his ear a lot. James, what was going in his ear?
I don't know.
Okay.
The governor's got a weird sex kink. It's the government. What do you want?
No, he said not in his ear.
Right, he's got a weird sex kink.
Okay.
He clearly wants something to happen, but she's doing it wrong.
Okay.
Or she's got a weird sex kink. I didn't think of that.
I wrote a note that was dumb because I kind of figured it out.
What no? What no?
I said, what is the plan in making him the sheriff?
Oh, yeah, you figured that out. You're smart. You got good brains.
I learn things sometimes.
If you watch the movie, the plot will tell you.
I have a problem when we watch movies.
You stop it and you ask questions.
I ask questions that the movie will later answer. What's funny...
The ability to pause movies is debilitating to the experience of watching movies.
Only if you're me and you're with James. The answer or the problem with my little issue that I have is I hate when people do that to me. I'm just like, just watch the movie. He does it too. Don't let him fool you.
I'd never done that before in my life.
You ask me all the time, well,
No.
what about blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, if you watch the movie.
It's not true. Slander. Lies.
He gets the approval from the governor to make the guy the sheriff, because then the governor will get all the credit of having the first black sheriff. And so they do that. And so the Bart becomes the sheriff of Rock Ridge, and they send him out, and he's got fancy clothes on now.
He's got a Gucci bag.
He's got a Gucci bag because he's
this movie's so fucking good.
He's all the rage of sheriffs. Also,
he's the fanciest sheriff.
I love him as a sheriff. All his suits are impeccable, and I like them.
He's just, the style's so good. He's the only person who looks clean the whole movie. It's so funny.
God his
damn,
horse
like
is
movie.
Also gorgeous.
Yeah, he's just got that fancy bridle
horse.
and shit. It's fucking awesome. Everyone should watch this movie.
The town is waiting for the sheriff to come. They got the band out, the banners, everyone's gathered, and they have the prospector up on the roof.
Oh my god, the fucking frontier gibberish, man.
One
of the
tell
best
him,
parts of the fucking movie.
All I said is that the prospector is one of Kenny McCormick's ancestors. And if you don't get that joke, we can't be friends. We cannot be friends if you don't get that joke.
No friends.
Everyone is upset upon seeing that the person
Sheriff is black.
The sheriff is a person of color, and the preacher starts this whole sermon. He's like, I would implore you to follow this good book's instructions, and we should be welcoming, like, blah blah blah. And someone shoots the Bible with a shotgun. And I just wrote, good Christians versus bad Christians.
Oh, man.
We should love and accept everyone and love thy neighbor, because that's what Jesus taught us to, and then hate crimes. Those are the two types of Christians. So, I need James, and I saved it for podcast so that you could explain it to me live.
Okay.
Because even in the absurdity that is this movie, I'm gonna need you to walk me through the shooting himself scene.
Okay.
Because I don't understand
there's backstory here.
Okay, good, because I was missing a lot.
Mel Brooks, once upon a time, was a child, as most humans are. And as a child, he decided he was going to steal some, like, candy from the store. Right? And so he was going to steal a squirt gun and some candy. And naturally, he being a child, got caught on the way out with his candy and his squirt gun. So he held himself at gunpoint with his squirt gun. And it stunned the clerk into inaction. So he held himself at gunpoint with a freshly acquired empty squirt gun and marched himself out of the store at gunpoint, squirt gunpoint, and that was the inspiration for the scene. Because he couldn't believe it worked, and also, he couldn't believe it worked. So, it's extra funny to me that they wrote it in to have Bart hold himself at gunpoint and have everyone immediately believe it and be confused. And you can see them, they're confused, and then at the same time, they're sold on the story. But they never stop being confused. And they show that they are sort of humans when he's, like, walking himself backwards and he goes, ah! And the one lady who was up in the grandstand goes, won't somebody help that poor man? And her husband goes, shut up, Harriet, that's a sure way to get him killed. And it's the most absurd thing, but it's made all the more better knowing that at some point In the early 20th century, Mel Brooks, as a child, held himself at gunpoint with a squirt gun and a candy bar and escaped the stealing with a squirt gun and a candy bar. It's the best thing I ever heard. It's fantastic. So that's why.
I will say, kids do the wildest shit sometimes. First of all, I would have loved to know Mel Brooks as a kid.
I want to know Mel Brooks now.
Fair. But I also want to hang out with Mel Brooks as a child, and he's a child, and I want to go do shenanigans with Mel Brooks, because that sounds fun. Second of all, kids do the craziest things, and adults just, like, are either so stunned that you just watch, because I've done that several times. I've just looked at a child and gone, what next? Please show me your thought process and plan here. I am intrigued to see where this goes. And they also tell wild and crazy stories. Like this week, we had a child convince his parents that a teacher went home in an ambulance. He went home and told his parents that his lead teacher was having trouble breathing and fell on the ground and went home in an ambulance.
Did the parent call Spark and go, what the heck is up with this?
She sent a message in, like, their little classroom thing that was like, oh no, he told us that this teacher went to the hospital and, like, is she okay? What's even better is that teacher had taken PTO for that morning, so she wasn't there.
Oh, wow. What a great lie. What a great lie. And
the rest of the teachers were like, and they're like, oh, no. Like, she sometimes, like, they do this joke where she falls out of her chair when he eats something that he hasn't eaten before. Like, she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so impressed. Like, she falls over fainting because she's so impressed with him and it makes him laugh. And sometimes she's laughing so hard that she has trouble, like, she starts coughing and she's having trouble breathing. She's like, but there was no ambulance, there was no hospital.
Everything is fine.
Everything is fine. So
carry on as you were.
Kids can be very convincing is the moral of this story. And sometimes, as the clerk, I probably would have been like, this kid's holding himself at squirt gun. He's like, no, I'm gonna do it. And I would have been like,
what?
Honestly, continue? Huh? Where are we going with this?
Where's the end of this story happen? And then he escapes and you go, son of a bitch, he got me.
I would have been like, solid. Like, if a kid ever pulls one over on me, I'm like, honestly, respect and impressed. Like,
no respect, still impressed.
Don't do it again, but mad props, my kid. I don't know if I could have done that at your age. Thank you, because I was really confused that entire more so than the townspeople.
Favorite fucking sequences in the movie, and I have like 5 favorite sequences.
Okay. There's something else I need to Google.
Okay.
How do you actually say Nietzsche or Nietzsche? What? How do you say it? Because I've heard it pronounced differently every single time someone says it, and I've never heard it the same way twice. I hear it on Big Bang Theory different. I was taught to say it in
Nietzsche.
I was taught to say it differently in my college classroom. I heard it differently in this movie. And like I said, whole life. And I've never once actually known how to actually pronounce his fucking last name. So it's Nietzsche.
That's what Google says. And it's the American pronunciation.
Nietzsche. Okay. Big Bang Theory is right, so that's good. I was expecting them to be right, considering how much research went into those shows, but
yeah.
Okay. I really just needed to know that for my own personal thing, because they said it wrong in this movie then, which is fine, because I've been saying it wrong my entire life, apparently. Gene Wilder shows up.
As the drunken Waco Kid.
Which is why I think it's in Texas. Because the Waco Kid. And Gene Wilder is amazing.
Yes, he is.
He's on the same level of Tim Curry, where he can just do, like, no wrong.
Tim Curry. What a hero. Tim
Curry, Gene Wilder, Meryl Streep. Those are my 3 people that can literally probably act in anything, and I'd be like, yeah, all right. I actually thought about briefly, instead of Anna Kendrick, having Meryl Streep play the
like young Meryl Streep, or like Devil Wears Prada age Meryl Streep?
Devil Wears Prada.
So, like, 50-year-old Meryl Streep
Yeah.
as a German seductress.
Because she's already old. She even makes the joke about nothing down there works, and she's got, like, wrinkled. Like, that's part of the funny haha of it all. And I think it'd be great. Not like Meryl Streep now, because now she's a little bit too old, but, like, younger Meryl Streep.
Yes, Anna Kendrick in that role?
I just really want to see Anna Kendrick in it, because I think she'd be really funny. She's got the physical... I know she's, like, a little bit, like, tired of being, like, the... Well, no, she's tired of being, like, the doe-eyed comedic, like, love interest. But I think she'd be really funny as, like... She's got really solid physical comedy and stuff. Anyways, I have, like, a whole dream cast for this reboot. I'm serious, Warner Brothers. If for some reason you're listening to this, please put me on it. I'll direct it. I don't care. I'll assistant direct Mel Brooks. I'll be the personal assistant. I don't care. Just put me on this goddamn movie.
Get me 91-year-old Mel Brooks on the phone right now.
He can sit in his chair and I'll just be like his person that's running the groundwork. I don't know. I just think it'd be excellent. I'm a really great director. Anyways,
where were you?
Gene Wilder is hanging upside down because he's fallen out of his bed and he's stuck and he's having a hard time getting up. He was arrested for being a drunk, which is fine. But he's having a hard time, like, getting back up onto his bed from hanging upside down, and all I had to say, and this will probably be the end of this part because I'm about halfway through my notes, is, that whole sequence of Gene Wilder trying to get up from the bed, like, hanging upside down, is just me trying to get back in bed after I try to grab my charger from the floor at night.
Facts. You gotta grab your legs and be like, use all your muscles. You can do it.
I've gotten stuck and had to call James from another room to help me get back. Okay, first of all, our bed is really tall and I'm a short person and I have no upper body strength to push myself off of the floor. So if I get into an angle where I can't use my core and my leg strength to pull myself back up, I have the amount of arm strength it takes to stop myself from falling down. And that is it. So, that whole sequence was a little too real for me, and that is exactly, if you ever see me try to reach my charger on the ground from the bed because I'm too lazy to get up out of the bed and get down on the ground, pick it up, plug my phone in, and then get back in the bed. Instead, I'd rather do this whole gymnastics routine of trying to grab it without leaving the bed. Doesn't go well.
We're gonna have to cover a lot of ground in the next episode.
I only have 65 notes, James. I don't know what you want from me.
Yeah, but we're not even halfway through the movie's runtime yet.
Yeah, well, You
stopped taking notes when you started enjoying it.
No, it wasn't that. I just didn't have as many notes towards the end.
All right.
I enjoyed the whole movie. I laughed twice in this first half of this podcast.
Oh my God.
2 whole laughs.
The whole thing is laughs front to back.
I know, you were dying through most of it.
Yes, it's so good. I love this movie.
This is part 1. We'll be back for part 2. Have a good time whenever you're listening to this.
Yeah. Take care of the dog and make a pot of coffee.
I thought you were already gonna make a pot of coffee.
I forgot about doing that.
Alright, y'all. It is time for the fun of voting. The fun of voting. Sound like the government now. Okay. So, our first option is the new mirror. I apologize for how loud this keyboard is. I also apologize that I can't spell. The new Mary Poppins is your guys' first choice. Mama. Actually, no. That's not true. Bullet Train is the second choice. Castle in the Sky to keep going on our Miyazaki train is your third choice, and your fourth choice is Snyder Cut. That didn't go. There we go. Snyder Cut. Alright. Enjoy your voting. Any good options? Those are... 2 of those are great options. Fuck you. We'll be right back. Also, hi, Hannah. Oh, we have a tie. Has it been 5 minutes? How long have we been on BRB? When did Hannah comment? I don't see when people comment. Oh well, there's only 2 of you really here, so 50-50. So that means we're doing a 2-week. The next one will be, we'll do Castle in the Sky since this one was James's, and then we'll do Bullet Train next time. that is what we will do. And I get to cross off 2 from the list. Also, Castle in the Sky is a great movie, Green Gorilla. You hush. Alright. That makes it real easy. You guys have planned out at least the whole month of July. All the City Wave Cinemas are done for the July, because we'll do those 2. And we only have 2 City Wave Cinemas this month. I guess 3. Oh no, this is the next one will be on the 18th. Then we won't do one until it's August. So, yeah. Alrighty, that sounds good. We're just waiting on James now. So how is everyone? I start my new job after my week of staycationing. I gave myself the 4th of July week off, which is also why I put my notice in for my old job on Friday, which also I can finally say fuck them, and I do not care, because they can't do anything. I don't give a shit. They suck. I hated that job. I loved all the people I worked with. I loved the actual job. I loved the kids. Those owners need to go take a business management class, or several. We had 2 other people quit this week. I mean, they put in their notice, but that's 2 more. That makes like 20 since March. Oof. Thanks! I'm gonna spend most of it cleaning my my house. I don't live in an apartment anymore. I'm gonna spend most of the time cleaning my house. Because I have company coming to town. And also, I don't know what else I'll do with my time. I'm gonna play Hogwarts. Might color. Might read. But mainly I'm gonna clean. Which is fine. That's fine with me. Our house isn't terrible right now. It's mainly dog hair. And I've been behind on quarter or like cleaning because of how insane this year has been, and I'm also not going to get to clean next weekend because we have stuff all weekend. So it'll be nice for me to kind of catch up and get cleaned up for the rest of the time, because I'm not going to have time. I also had to take a muscle relaxant last night, and I conked out hard. Like, I slept uninterrupted only other than one time to plug my phone in. I slept uninterrupted till 10:30 a.m. So from easily like 12 hours because of a muscle relaxant. So I also woke up like feeling a little bit sluggish and like still in a drug fog, and so it took me a little bit longer going on my normal cleaning day. So I only cleaned like 2 rooms. It was this one. This room's clean. And our laundry room got cleaned. I did our quarter clean of emptying our washer. Our air conditioning broke briefly, but we replaced the batteries and now it's fine. That was a brief minor panic. And then yeah, then we watched the movie and now we're here. That's the other reason we're doing, it's been 2 weekends that we've done CityWavesCinema. We're doing them back to back because next weekend, like I said, we don't have any fucking time to do them. So we're kind of stockpiling. That's why the next one won't be till the 18th, I don't think, or the 22nd. One of those 2. No, the 22nd is when I can go to Santa Fe. The 18th. No, this heat wave has been insane. Also, Green Gorilla, how are you holding up there? Is it colder up there? Do you have rain? Because it's miserable down here. Our heat index was like plus 20 this week, as you heard me talk about during the podcast. I just want to make sure you're good. Because maybe it's better up north. I don't know. No rain, had dark clouds. Yeah, we have this thing called the Austin Rain Dome, which just prevents rain in Austin for science reasons that I don't fully understand, but I'm annoyed by it, and I know it exists now, and that's obnoxious. It's supposed to rain every day this week, but it won't. Yeah, the past week we've been hundreds and nineties with a heat index of like plus 20. It's been bad. Like right now. It's supposed to be raining. It's not. It's also supposed to rain tomorrow. Although tomorrow, guys, tomorrow it's only gonna be 96. And I wish that I wasn't excited about that, but I am. Because it's been over 100 this week. Like the news was like, yeah, Texas will be temping in some Sahara desert temperatures, and I was like, that shouldn't be a thing. Ever. Yeah, I know, double digits. I don't know what our heat index is today. I didn't look because I wasn't at work, so I didn't care. It actually feels colder? No, it doesn't. Okay, I can't read. It's 88 right now. Whew, a bit of a cold front. It's 88, but it feels like it's 93. So that's the best it's probably been all week. Aries is fine. He doesn't. The only issue he's having is he doesn't understand why he can't go outside. But the minute we take him outside, he doesn't want to fucking be outside. So that's the only. He hates the hot, but he doesn't like being cooped up inside. We can't take him anywhere because it's too hot, or we have to find a place that has air conditioning that lets dogs inside. Which there are plenty of places in Austin that do that, just not as many as we need that are close by. And our favorite one closed, which sucked. He gets stir crazy and he likes to go on outings, but he can't go on outings because it's hot. So he's a little mad. We're taking him out tomorrow to this new bar that opened here. We're gonna meet some friends there and kind of celebrate the fact that I don't work in the hellhole anymore. And yeah, that's. We're going like after the sun goes down and it's the coldest day this week, so hopefully he's okay. And hopefully it's not raining because the whole place is outdoors. Such is life, I guess. Yeah. I'm just waiting for James. He's also running out of time before my medicine kicks in and I get a little loopy. So he can hear me and he apologized. No, I'm about halfway through my notes, so we should have plenty to talk about for the next half of this podcast. He said that he will be here soon. He could have put that in chat, but he didn't. Yeah, that's all about that's new in my life. I'm going to start a new job doing the exact same job that I did for my previous job, but for more money and more PTO, so woo! Like another $1 an hour. I'm also going back to hourly instead of salary, which I'm kind of stoked about. I like hourly. Unpopular / popular opinion. When you're salary, your time's not your own. They can pretty much demand you to do whatever you want whenever you want, but when you're hourly, I can literally go, ooh, see this little number here that says I'm clocked out? I don't. Oopsie. I'll talk to you when I clock in. Thank you. Have a good day. The only bad part is like you don't. There's like chances of your pay not being consistent, like, or if you like can't, if you there's sometimes you can't clock in, then you don't make money versus like salary where it's like the set number every single time. But hourly also gets chances of overtime if you do work over 40 hours. So I like hourly. Puts me more in control. Also, when I clock out, I literally have to give 0 fucks. That's my story. I'm running out of things to talk about. We already did the weather. What are other small talk things we can say? Am I still live on here? I don't know how I ended up there though. That's weird. How's rock showing, Hannah? Is your rock showing going well? I know you guys had some. Why? It's not festivals. It's not the word I'm looking for. Rock shows. There's like a word though, like not conventions. That's not the word either. I know they're called rock shows, but there's like a word I'm looking for that's not festivals or conventions. And I don't know what it is. Is it a convention? I don't know. This is what happens when I have to vamp for an extended period of time. Oh, I need to save this actually. I'll do that. That gives me something to do. Also, for sharing with your friends, the first podcast of Grease is gonna drop tonight. In case you want to listen to that with your friends and family, or send it to someone that needs a wake-up call. There we go. We're gonna do new project. We're gonna close that project. Boom. I have feathers in my hair. And I just don't care. I'm also gonna dye my hair, guys. It's like I got out of a bad breakup. Where'd my pencil go? Oh, it's on this side. Okay. Okay, so gem shows. Rock shows. Got it. So I was close. Or I was on the right track. I don't know. I felt like there's a name for like that sort of gathering. Not convention. Not summit either. I don't know. How is it?
I don't know yet. I just poured it. It's very hot. Okay, a straight tie between Bullet Train and Castle in the Sky. Fascinating.
Yes. Oh, I should end the poll.
Probably.
There we go. So we're gonna do Castle in the Sky and then Bullet Train, since Blazing Saddles was technically a your pick. That's also my last Miyazaki film I'm gonna force you to watch. So
You're not gonna do Princess Mononoke? Mononoke?
no, and I'm not gonna make you watch Kiki's
Comedy.
Delivery Service. I made you watch the 3, in my opinion, that are the best ones. If chat would like to suggest others, I'll add them. But those 3, Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, and Castle in the Sky, are, in my opinion, the top 3 best Miyazaki films. So, you ready? Because I'm probably running out of time.
Go.
All right, here we go. 3, 2.
Not every Western is bad.
Name a good one.
Blazing Saddles.
This is not a real Western. It's a mockery of Westerns.
It is, well, that it's still a Western. It does all the things that Westerns do.
I wouldn't say it's good.
It's incredible. What are you talking about?
I'd say it's a good movie. I wouldn't say it's a good Western.
Support Your Local Gunfighter is also pretty good.
Like, there's a movie that's called that?
Yeah, and Support Your Local Sheriff. Same vibe, similar actors. Pretty good.
I don't like Western movies.
That's okay. They're still good. They still have merit.
Eh.
Alright, fuck you. Read your notes.
John Wayne was a Western actor, right? That's like a thing?
Yes, he was. That incorrigible piece of shit.
Oh, we don't like John Wayne.
No, John Wayne is bad.
Why don't we like John Wayne?
Because he's a sexist, racist piece of shit.
Wasn't everyone in the time?
No, not everyone. But he was, like, extra.
That's James. I'm America. This is CityWavesCinema.
Christ. What a train wreck of an intro.
And we watched Blazing Saddles, in case you were wondering why this is part 2 and not part 1. And you are confused and wondering why you're here. Welcome. That's everyone that shows up to most of our streams, podcasts, and recordings.
Jesus Christ.
Where
were we in the plot for Blazing Saddles?
We just met Jim.
Waco Kid.
Yeah.
Most people just call me Jim.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jim is a millennial. And I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay, sell me on this.
He has a millennial mindset. Because Bart makes a comment about drinking like that on an empty stomach will kill a man.
And he said, when?
And he said, when. And at the same time, me and my millennial status went...
I wish.
I was like, I think I said something similar to like, I wish, or...
You said please,
I think. Please. I think as I said please. And that is why Jim...
we just long for death.
He also, like, just has that whole, like...
I don't care.
That whole millennial motif through, like, most of this movie of just, like, I drink and I show up places, and that's about...
exactly what Jim does for the whole movie.
And
on occasion, he does gunfighter-y things.
And he makes sarcastic, quippy comments, and that's all that you need from him. And
Christine.
So Jim is a millennial, and I will hear no further arguments, no questions from the peanut gallery at this time. I laughed for the third time because, in case you're counting at home, this is 3 laughs, which makes it 2 times better than Million Ways to Die in the West.
Wow.
I got my 3rd laugh because Bart asks Jim what he would like to do, and Jim says, play chess. Screw. And Bart goes, alright, so chess then! And it made me chuckle.
It was still the 70s. They still weren't hip on the gay stuff.
In following through with my neurodivergency problems in this movie, it's not a problem actually, but you all know, if you've been here, you know that I greatly dislike Matthew McConaughey's voice. And there's not a solid reason, there's not like a explanation, it's just the sound of his voice makes me want to like drown kittens in a river.
Jesus Christ.
So...
Why?
I don't know!
You have problems.
I know. On the opposite side of that, Gene Wilder's voice makes me feel completely relaxed and soothed and happy all at once anytime he talks.
I'm gonna get an AI to talk to you in Gene Wilder's voice.
Can Gene Wilder be my GPS voice? Can we make that happen? Because driving would be great.
Every time you don't make your turn, he goes, "You lose, Charlie!"
Yes, please. I want this more than I have wanted a lot of things in my life. Either Gene Wilder or Alan Rickman's voice doing my GPS would be great.
Turn left. Moron.
But no, Gene Wilder's voice does, like, just immediately my brain goes, and I don't know why. If I'm ever having a really bad anxiety attack, James, just
I'll find some Gene Wilder clips.
Find a compilation of...
Hey, boys!
Best of Gene
Look at
Wilder.
what I got here! Fuck, this movie's good.
So they end up telling stories about their life. We find out that Jim is the Waco Kid, which again is why I'm pretty sure this movie's set in Texas, even though it doesn't say it is. Also, it's so much Texas it hurts. And then Bart gets a chance to tell his story about like how he came to the West and how he ended up where they are, which is a very racist story in more ways than one that I'm not really going to get into.
But it's racist in a funny way.
The Native Americans speak Yiddish.
Yes,
James.
Because Mel Brooks plays the chief.
No, he does not.
Yes, he does.
Oh, shit.
Mel Brooks played the governor and the chief, and he spoke actual phrases in Yiddish.
Is Mel Brooks Jewish?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he is. He's very Jewish. He spoke actual words in Yiddish that was like, "Stop! What are you, crazy? Let them go."
Yeah, no, I understand that he was speaking actual Yiddish. It's the fact that the Native Americans were speaking Yiddish that is the racist portion that I'm referring to. Also, the whole people of color thing. I did have a thought that I'm not going to say out loud that I will talk about to you later about that whole scene.
Okay.
But it was a check yourself moment, and so I'm just gonna move past it.
Flag that for later.
And during this whole story, Jim has fallen asleep, which
classic
is me when people tell stories, and now I'm even more convinced that Jim is a millennial. So, then we get a scene with the Railroad Commission, because I refuse to call them anything else at this point. Eating dinner, which is just baked beans and bread in like one of those little metal bowl tin things. And there used to be this place that back home where I lived called the Flying W Ranch. It burned down and then they rebuilt it. But I used to go there quite frequently as a kid, and it was supposed to be like this old western town, and you'd eat like they did, and you had like it was those bowls, and I saw that bowl and my brain got triggered to a sense memory so hard. It was insane. Oh, maybe we will get rain.
Goddamn. That thunder stunned both of us immediately.
It's because we're so used to it not raining here, it was alarming. So...
Or it was a trash can, I can't tell.
This really makes me want to go to the Flying W Ranch.
Uh-huh.
I have a question.
Okay.
And maybe you can answer this.
I have an answer.
Who decided farts were funny?
Farts are funny because they're taboo. That, I don't know who decided that, but I can tell you why it was in this movie. This was a scene that didn't need to happen, or at least the first part of it didn't need to happen, but the writing team, which is Mel Brooks, Richard Pryor, and a couple other people, watched a bunch of Westerns, like, popular movies of the time. Watched a bunch of Westerns to get reference material and stuff, and they noted that all that these fucking cowboys ate all the time was black coffee and fucking beans. And so it occurred to them that a totally natural thing that would happen to you if all you ate and drank was black coffee and beans is that you would fart a lot and you would belch a lot, because that's what happens to any human being when they ingest that much bean product, because beans do gas, and gas comes out of you one of two ways. So they thought, well, you never see the result of these people eating all these beans for all their meals and drinking all this black coffee for all their beverages. So why not showcase it and make fun of them for never showing that in other movies or even alluding to that? And so it is noted as being the first time a fart was heard on screen in cinema.
No
in
fucking
1974.
Shit.
It was the first time they did a fart joke in a movie. And they did not just one fart joke, they did a chorus line of fart jokes all at once. And it might be the funniest meta fart joke that there's ever been, because they were making fun of other movies who took themselves too seriously for not including the fact that cowboys would probably fart a lot based upon their diet, which is a totally relevant and scientific thing.
So I have two thoughts about that whole tangent. One, you answered my question. I have Mel Brooks to blame. Two, that's super cool that this is the origin of that joke.
Yeah.
Like,
no one ever did a fart on camera before.
That's fantastic.
It's phenomenal.
But second of all...
This movie was nominated for 3 Academy Awards.
But second of all, I have Mel Brooks to partially blame for Seth MacFarlane. And
oh, yeah.
That is...
Seth MacFarlane is like the Kmart Mel Brooks.
That I can't forgive you for, but I think it's super cool that you originated the joke, so pin in your hat, my friend. Yeah, no, that's really cool. I also then was also thinking during that whole time, why is it funny? Like, I think the fart jokes in Shrek are funny, but then I see fart jokes like this and I'm like, that's so cliche. Or like in Family Guy or anything, so I don't know. Maybe it's context. I don't know.
Also, Shrek came out when you were a child. You watched it when you were a child.
I watched other things when I was a child that had fart jokes in them, and I did not think it was funny. But you want to know who does think farts are funny? 2-year-olds. They think that shit is the funniest thing that's ever happened on this planet. is any noise that kind of relatively sounds like a fart.
I'll keep that in mind
Um,
for when I have to entertain 2-year-olds.
Jim, then we flash back to the sheriff's office, where...
No. We gotta do Mongo.
We do gotta do Mongo.
Because Mongo is a linebacker in the NFL.
They're trying to figure out how to take down the sheriff in this town.
They gotta have him killed.
Because he's kind of turning things around and they're mad about it. He convinced everyone to stay. They're having a hard time running people out. So they find Mongo. Well, they don't find Mongo.
They just have Mongo.
They have Mongo.
There's
on
a lot of
leash?
things, chains even. There's a lot of things in this movie where if you start to ask questions, the plot unravels a lot. So it's best to just not.
They send Mongo to go kill the sheriff. There you go.
And
Do you have anything else to say about Mongo? No, we don't get to the defeated part yet.
We'll deal with that later. All right. No, I just like the blatant mistreatment of him, and then he lights a cigar by putting his whole face in the fire is a good sequence.
Okay. So then we flash back to the sheriff's office, and Bart's about to go and like do his daily work, and Jim's telling him not to go.
Don't go out there. They don't like you, man.
And he's like, if I keep making the town better, they have to accept me. And all I wrote was, they do not. If history has taught us anything, they absolutely do not.
And they don't. Not at first.
They don't even really at the end. They're just kind of like, I mean, I guess this is our option.
I mean, at the end, they ask him to stay. And he goes, fuck you guys.
I need you to explain a gag to me in this movie.
Okay.
Mongo rolls up in a cow.
On a water buffalo, even.
And his horse, or water buffalo, his riding companion, is tagged on the back with a yes/no.
Don't know.
No explanation, trivia boy?
Didn't see anything in the trivia. I don't know what that's about.
I don't understand the joke.
I watched it with my eyes, and I can't figure out why the water buffalo has yes on one ass cheek and no on the other. Now, our live chat has indicated something very clever, and I know he rides a motorcycle, so it kind of makes sense. It makes sense that he would know and we wouldn't know.
It also, that's true, that's what happens.
It said yes on the left.
Yeah.
Which is the passing lane.
Yeah, it's the passing lane.
Very, very good. Very good.
Oh, it's a water buffalo, and it's a boat thing to pass on the yes side. And
God damn, Mel Brooks is so fucking smart.
Okay.
We just live had this happen to us on this recording right now. We fucking got a joke explained to us.
That makes more sense. Carry on.
Fabulous. Fabulous. This movie's so good. This movie deserves way more than it ever got credit-wise.
This is mainly the reason I asked these questions and saved them for later, is because I was like, I'm either going to get the answer, or this is going to fill out some of my time for my kind of subpar note-taking. So, I make questions to ask to spur conversation on.
Fabulous.
God, I really am Sheldon Cooper. Anyways, I have another question.
Okay.
And that is, were the horses in this movie okay?
I am confident no horses were actually injured. In fact, there's this in the final battle sequence.
I know there's the 2 fake horses in the final battle.
I liked when the guy was riding a horse and there was clearly a cut where the horse stopped being real and Mongo just threw it over. I don't think any actual horses were harmed in the making of this movie. However, this movie was made in a time where
that was my concern.
They did not have to specify that no horses were injured. But I can't imagine a world where, on this comedy movie where nothing is real and everything is silly, they would ever put a horse in a spot where it could be injured.
There were just some actual physical stunts, gags, and stuff that were performed.
A couple of horses fell over, and I think they were trained to do that.
That's what I was like. There's just a lot of things where like horses like do tumbles, and first of all, I want to know how you train a horse to purposely fall, because that's an impressive talent.
Ask Vienna, she probably knows.
And Second of all, I just wanted to make sure the horses were okay, because if the movie was made a long time ago, and if you ever like end up hearing like documentaries about movies and how they were made, Wizard of Oz, you find out like just horrible things happened to everyone that was involved with the movie at all times.
Everyone breathed in the asbestos. It was fine.
And we were drugging Judy Garland to be up and down on command.
High.
Well, no, they basically just were like, pump her full of uppers.
Pump her full of downers.
And then when they didn't need her anymore, they're like, pump her full of downers so we can pump her full of more uppers tomorrow. Like, anyways.
Oh, poor Judy Garland.
Anyways, I just wanted to make sure the horses were okay.
As far as I can tell.
They're just well trained, in which case now I'm impressed with the horses and their trainers. Carry
on.
So Mongo, the reason I asked is because Mongo rolls into town and he ends up punching a horse and the horse fell over, and I grew concerned at that point for all the horses. Mongo starts wrecking up the saloon and fighting people, and everyone's scared and they all know who he is for reasons. And the owner of the saloon runs and gets Bart, his name's Bart, right? The sheriff, and is like, you gotta help us, and Bart agrees, and and he turns to Jim and he's like, see, I told you they'd accept me. And then the saloon guy, the owner, makes a joke. He's like, the fool said he'd do it. And there's a running gag in this movie that I really appreciate of like people saying things, pretending like that someone can't hear them and realizing that they definitely did say it in front of that person, and then just like saying it again, even though they know that person can still hear them or already heard them, is really funny. I did enjoy that long going gag. So the sheriff comes up with this plan in a very Looney Tunes style thing, which was the joke. They used the Looney Tunes theme song. But in a very Looney Tunes style way to get rid of Mongo, which is to dress up as a
Candygram
telegram person. Telegrapher?
Candygram.
He's a candygram, but that was candygrams were like anyways.
Yeah, telegram.
Like he dressed up like a telegram guy.
A runner.
And he goes to deliver a candygram to Mongo, and this stops Mongo pushing the townspeople with a piano into a wall, which was how he was torturing them, I guess. I mean, it probably was painful. I'm not saying that it wasn't. It's just a weird tactic. Is it bad or too hot? Oh. Sorry, James was making faces drinking coffee.
I took a pill.
Oh. Why didn't you use my water for that? Or your water?
That's fine. The pill went sideways down the throat.
Yeah, I gathered, but why did you not use... Okay, anyways.
It's not thunder.
Okay, so, the go deliver a a candygram to Mongo. He selects it, he signs for it. And then Bart acts like a Looney Tunes character, plugs his ears, does like the silly walk around and hides behind the corner. And then to the Looney Tunes theme song, by the way.
It's straight up the Looney Tunes theme.
And da 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 da. And then Mongo opens the candygram, which in Looney Tunes,
I love candy.
Looney Tunes style fashion just explodes in his face. And that's him. That knocks Mongo out, and they chain him up to the jail cell door.
The best part about that gag is not actually that gag. It's the following sequence when he's talking to Jim again, and he goes, I invented the candygram. Probably won't even get credit for it.
Okay. So that all happens. I love Bart's suits. I know I already said it in the first part, but like,
fabulous.
They just are really good to look at. Like, props to the costume designer. We don't shout out costume people enough on this podcast, and we do. If you're new here, James and I got my degree in theater and he got his degree in film, and so kind of we round out the acting portion and the filmmaking portion. So we do like to call out credit where credit's due when we see something that we appreciate as artists. And the costumer for this show, or this movie, it's not a show.
Fabulous.
did a great job. Love it. Like, his suits are all just really pretty to look at and really great, and like they definitely fit that city boy sheriff vibe that you guys are going for. I also like that like people are actually dirty, unlike Million Ways to Die in the West. I don't know, just like props to the costume and makeup people of this movie. So then Mungo didn't work,
So now we have to resort to other means to
which
kill
is
the sheriff.
sex.
Yes.
So they
went and got themselves a seductress.
they have Lily. Her name's Lily, and
Lily von Stupp.
what's his name? Headley. Headley goes to
I like how you don't remember characters' names.
I don't know why. Headley goes to.
Oh, we didn't wait briefly. We didn't talk about the best joke in the movie, which happens at around 45 minutes in. It's just before. It's like just before Mongo and just before Lily von Stupp, which is he goes out to do his daily thing, and that old lady just straight up tells him "up yours" in a slur.
Hard
And-
R.
Yeah, and then he goes back in and he's sitting there with Jim, and Gene Wilder's consoling him, and he's like talking about how stupid all the townsfolk are, and he's just really eloquently putting it that they're very terrible people of the land. And he goes, you know, morons. And they didn't, Clavon Little didn't know what the line was. So you see him like physically bust up laughing at the line. And then Mongo wakes up. And it's just fucking tremendous how fucking incredible his reaction was to the silly little joke. I don't know. It was just great. Carry on.
Headley has someone that he uses to seduce people that are in power that he uses on the regular. Her name is Lily. It took me forever to get that sentence out. Anyways, she answers the door when he like knocks on it with a Cabaret reference. If you've never seen the musical Cabaret, that's that whole spiel that she does is where that's from. I don't know why Mel Brooks used it as a joke. It's funny if you get the reference, but
probably just to make the reference to Cabaret.
I also thought it could be like a deeper, more like calling out racism thing, because
the whole movie is about calling out
that's
racism.
That's why I thought that, because there's not a lot of German representation in film, especially at this time, or like in
ever
the arts. And one of the only other well-noted ones is Cabaret, so for her to have like for her to say that line, that was my only other reasoning for it. Was either he was calling out Cabaret because artists respect artists, or he was making a more racial statement. Not that he's racist, but like calling out racism. Anyways,
quick tie-in from this movie to Grease. I knew that would catch your attention. The world premiere of this movie was at the Pickwick Drive-In Theater in Burbank. The Pickwick Drive-In Theater was the drive-in in Grease.
Got it.
Which is just very cool. Sadly, it's been demolished since then, which is a shame because it would be cool to go see a movie at that drive-in. Anyways, carry
on. He really likes Lily's legs.
Really likes Lily's legs.
And this is my next talking point question, now that I've exposed my hand, is what's up with men and legs?
That I don't know, but I do know that Lily von Stupp, I just had it. God damn it. I had the piece. I had the little trivia bit about it. The character of Lily von Stupp is a parody of Marlene Dietrich, who I don't know who Marlene Dietrich is, but I'm going to find out for you right now. But basically, she was famous for having stunning legs of sorts. So they make a big deal about Lily von Stupp's legs because she's a parody of the leg person.
That's an explanation for why the joke's there, but it's a standard that's been held throughout time of like long-legged women, and I'm just curious where that came from. Like, because it's like a thing. she's got some legs on her. Like, what? Why? Of all the features on a woman, like I already know you guys like boobs and butt, but like, why legs? Also, I love that all the things men like are really obsessed with women are all from like chest down. You ever hear them talk about their hair or their face? Anyway, sexism aside, but why do dudes like sexy legs, chat? I'm asking you, why? I already know they do, but why? Anyways, I'm gonna say something that's gonna sound really catty, but I'm trying to figure out if that's the point of this joke. And it's that the actress who did win an Oscar, so congrats, but the actress isn't even that pretty.
Nor is she in the movie, like, hardly at all.
And is that the point? Is that she's not, like, I guess stereotypically, like, super attractive? Like, don't get me wrong, she's not ugly, but she's not, like, I guess when, even for example, the secretary would look better as the role of a seductress than the actress who played Lily. But is that the point? Is that she's...
I'll say this. She does look just like Marlene Dietrich.
Okay, that's the point. Never mind that.
Because Marlene Dietrich is like cabaret incarnate.
Mm-hmm.
And Marlene Dietrich was the performer who made like the performing in a top hat and the coattails. That's her.
Oh!
So they parodied her in this movie by getting another actress who looked very similarly German and all that stuff. Telling you, Mel Brooks all over the ball on this one.
Okay, so then that tracks. So
and they also did The Secretary, which was just like Bombshell City.
So, okay. So that is... Okay. So semi the point, but not really.
Yeah.
She sings a song that goes on for all of the sometime.
It's so long. And all it is about, like, I don't want to fuck anymore.
It's that she's old and tired. That's the point of the song.
It's such a funny song. I'm old. I don't want to fuck anymore. Don't talk to me. It's the best fucking cabaret song ever because you know what the result of it is? It's a bunch of fucking horned up cowboys in the saloon still trying to bone.
In the song, there's a line how men are always coming and going and going and coming again, and then too soon. Am I right, ladies? That was my fourth laugh. So now it's 3 times better than Million Ways to Die in the West. Again, for those of you keeping score at home.
No one was but you.
I wrote again that this song, this is where I wrote the song has gone on for too long. And then she's talking about different types of sex positions.
I must have stopped paying attention. What? I got bored of the song. What happened?
In the song, she goes over different sex positions.
Fascinating.
Some are real, like missionary and stuff like that. And others are not. And one of the things she refers to is men do a belly jump on her, and that's like a good thing. And I just wrote...
I don't know what that is. Don't ask me.
What sex involves belly jumping? And am I doing it wrong if there is something? Because I need to know.
Jesus Christ.
She does the whole song. She sends a note out to Bart, who has attended the show, inviting him up to her room so she can seduce him. And
there's a part of this scene that was cut out.
We'll get to that in a moment.
Okay.
Because I'm going to give you my 5th laugh, making this 4 times better than Million Ways to Die. Is she did the cabaret speech again, because he knocked on the door, and I cannot remember or say the speech for the life of me, but it's how the cabaret welcoming.
It's the greeting and welcome.
Yeah. And the fact she did it twice made me laugh. So 5 laughs. They do a lot of, like, they do this whole thing where she gets him in there. Part of the scene is cut out, which James will talk to us about apparently. And she's trying to seduce him, so she blows out the candles, which in old stage grid lighting for like movie sets, when a character blows out a candle, like all the light goes off for that scene. Because candles provide so much light. If you've ever tried to see a room by candlelight, you know. And
movies.
all I have to say is the stage lighting it was really bad in this one. Like,
I think it's that way on purpose.
And then I wrote, and I don't know if it's on purpose.
I think it's probably that way on purpose. The whole movie is parody. It's like a South Park episode that's just really, really long.
And then she ends up basically they do the nasty. And now James can tell us about this part of the scene that got cut out.
So she blows the candles out. They get interrupted by the fucking attorney general, who is just desperate to get a touch of this woman. She rebuffs him well, though. And she goes to sit next to him on the couch, and we hear the caption says zip, like a zipper. But the sound you hear is fabric tearing. Like, very clearly fabric tearing sound effect. And the part of the scene that got cut out is Bart, like, she gets all excited about, like, is what they say about your people true, which is a pointed racist joke, but, like, a funny haha one. And she's all excited about it being true, and the scene cuts off there, cut to the morning. What they cut out was Bart says, sorry to disappoint you, but you're sucking on my arm. And that hit the cutting room floor as one of the, like, 3 things that Mel Brooks did cut out of the movie. So I personally think that should have stayed in because I think that's fucking hilarious. And I'm sad it isn't in there. But they did sneak it back into the home release of the movie. However, if you stream it on Amazon Prime, as we did, it is not there. Tragedy. Then in the morning, he says he can't have many more sausages.
Yes, and she is, like,
bummed.
She's infatuated with him.
Totally infatuated. It only takes a night, by the way.
I said, a joke I can't say goes here, and then I referenced what it was so I'd remember. But the fact that she's so, like, enthused and enthralled with him in the morning just fits.
Oh my god. You can't say that joke.
That's what I said. A joke I can't say goes here.
I mean, you never go back.
You can't do that, James.
Yes, I can.
You can't take my joke about not being able to say my joke and then make
say the
joke. And steal the credit for the thing I thought of originally.
It's not my joke. You wrote it. It's all credit to you. I just said it. We gotta hustle, bro. We got so much movie left.
I don't have that many more notes left.
I know, but the plot carries on.
The plot I can explain in, like, these notes.
All right.
So he's like, nah, I gotta go to work. He pieces out. And then he talks to Jim, who kind of gives him an update about kind of what's going on with the law and the, like, shootings and the Railroad Commission. And then Mungo pipes up, and kind of through some funny circumstances after they have to let him go, because that was one of the things that Jim had to tell him, was that, hey, Mungo's been pardoned by the Attorney General, we gotta let him go. And that's kind of when they start to put all the pieces together, that the Railroad Commission and Headley are, like, working together. And Mungo kind of explains to them that the reason they're working together is, like, the railroad's supposed to go through Rock Ridge. Yep. And yeah,
now the plot is revealed.
There you go. But Bart acts like he doesn't understand why they could possibly, he says we need to go check on the train and see what's actually happening after Mungo reveals this. And I was like, dude, you were there, you know why they're going through Rock Ridge. You were the one that discovered the quicksand. Like, how are you not putting this together that they changed the route of the train because of the quicksand? Anyways, that was one of the only times I got truly frustrated in this movie, was like, you worked there. You knew why they couldn't put the train where the train was originally supposed to go. And you said you had to go check it out just so we could get the rest of the movie to happen. They roll up on the railroad commission to kind of like they ride down there just as themselves to go check on it, and they get stopped. What are you laughing about?
I just am laughing about what's coming in the movie.
They get stopped by the railroad commission when they're trying to check out the tracks, and they yes, James.
No. I'm not saying anything. Carry on.
What were you gonna say?
I didn't have anything to say. You just genuinely misunderstood my hair twirling.
They basically hold him up at like gunpoint, and they're like, and then Bart, what?
They're like, boo-doo-doo. They hold up their guns and they're like, bah, bah, bah. What are they, the fucking Swedish chef of cowboys?
Anyways, the whole reason I'm talking about it is because I have a note if you would let me get there without making fun of me. Bart tells the kid to like take out their guns, and they're like, no, we're gonna shoot you, and so he can't even hold a gun, we're gonna shoot him. And then in the course of doing that, Waco the kid, what?
Waco the kid?
That's his name. Is it not?
The Waco kid. I love you so desperately.
It's the same thing. Waco the kid Waco, what?
Oh dear. Well, all right, we're spiraling.
No, what is his name?
His name is the Waco Kid.
The Waco Kid shoots him super fast, but I thought that he couldn't shoot anymore.
Well, he just says he can't shoot anymore.
He was like, look at my hand.
Well, right. He holds his hand up and it's perfectly still, and he goes, no, but I shoot with this hand. He's left-handed. He wears 2 guns.
So he can...
He even proved that he is the fastest draw ever when they do the chess piece game.
But I thought he couldn't shoot because his hand was shaky.
No, he's memeing.
Oh.
He's memeing on everybody. He just stopped doing gun stuff because he, like, turned around at the side of draw and there was a 6-year-old there and he said, fuck it, I'm done. And then the kid shot him in the ass. And then he said, extra fuck it, I'm done.
Hey, that's all I needed explained to me. Because I was really confused. I thought he actually couldn't shoot.
No, he just retired. He was like, I'm done doing gunfighting. I'm starting whiskey.
I thought he was shaking because he had PTSD from the child situation.
No, he's a professional. A consummate professional.
Okay.
He's a markedly good gunfighter.
They basically say, because now that the Waco Kid...
Yeah.
The Waco Kid is here, they're basically going to need an army to beat the sheriff and the Waco Kid. And so they decide to basically put out a notice to hire anyone.
A bunch of vagabonds.
A long speech.
I can find it.
The speech, to me, sounds like Mark when he's describing boobs. And I made that reference because it was just like, at some point, when someone says that many words when somebody says that many words in a row, like, your brain just shuts off and they don't sound like real words anymore. And it reminded me of that Markiplier meme now of him describing boobs.
Oh my god, I can't find it.
But so yeah, they're basically hiring mercs to go take out the town of Rockridge, right? Rockridge. Yep. And then we see the people that they have hired.
It's a variety.
It's a variety. That's a good word. It's a very big variety. And they also do a wonderful musical variety that matches the variety of people that there are in this line. And the music changes every time you start a new group of people.
Really? I didn't.
Uh-huh.
That's fabulous.
Mm-hmm. And it's appropriate for each group.
This movie's so good.
And it's such a smooth transition that you miss it for the first several groups, and then you get to about midway through and it's very deliberate, and then you get to the end and it's very subtle again. So it's very easy to miss, but it was beautifully well done. And this is a part of the promo I used, but I learned where a meme comes from today. And it came from this movie, and it was an educational time for me. It was a spiritual experience because I had to pause the movie, look at my husband, and
so
go,
excited.
"That's where this from? That's from this movie." It made the movie so much better for me because I really love when I see cultural like circles of things. Like you see where the beginning and the end is, and I've had several of those for this movie, which is really cool, like fart jokes and things like that. It's really cool to see like something that existed in the past happening again in the present. And so the fact that I know this movie now because I knew the meme first is just super cool to me, because that just shows you how cool art and culture is, because it basically permeates time.
Hey boys, look at what I got here.
I'm not doing it.
Where are all the white women at? What a good fucking meme, dude. I love that scene. I love that scene so much. And it's just the two clan guys are like, oh! They run off, get the shit beat out of them, and then they infiltrate the gang as these clan members.
Yep.
And then they go to sign up, and fucking Bart reaches for the pen first.
Idiot!
Like a fool.
I wrote idiots. Just that was the only note I had for this whole scene of them signing up was idiots.
Bart reaches. He's clearly not white. And that's, you know, not correct if you're going to wear a Klan hood.
And then Jim makes a joke about him being dirty and tries to clean it off.
You have to wash up after we burn those crosses. Like,
the whole scene is great.
As hard as you can get. It's so good. Fuck, this movie's good.
We get a CityWaves meme, actually, of bush people, which I did take note of, because they
just run away
and carry bushes and hide in them. And then the only thing I'll tell you about for this next little bit is I'll tell you the plot, but my note that I had for this entire time was, through no reason, I have discovered that Wikipedia has a list of alphabetized ethnic slurs, and there are more than I thought.
Oh my god.
That is the whole note I took when...
Why did you look up the slurs? I don't remember. Because
the whole scene of them basically rebuilding the town sent me down a spiral of...
Oh, that's
Googling.
Right, because they're like, these guys are going to help you build the decoy town in exchange for small parcels of land. And the guy was like, we'll take the... I'll not say slurs, that would be bad. The hard R and the Chinese.
Yes.
We'll take the Chinese, we'll take the Africans, we won't take the Irish. And we were like, is there not a slur for the Irish? Are they just called the Irish? And turns out they're just called the Irish.
Which then made me, I was like, I didn't believe that as an answer, because that's what James's Google. So I had to look, is there any slurs for Irish people?
And then we found a wormhole of just every slur ever. There's a lot.
So that's the whole note I took for that entire scene of them creating a plan.
So the plan here is they're going to build a decoy town, and through trickery get what we have affectionately dubbed the Railroad Committee, which is just a gang, to ride through the fake town, and then we're going to blow them all up. We're going to commit many acts of murder.
They've committed many acts of murder.
Right, but we're going to do it as a group. Town murder. That's what we're going to do. We're going to build a pretend town. They're going to ride in, and we're going to blow them all up with dynamite. We're going to blow up every one of them. I can't say it's a bad plan. So they do the whole thing.
It's a great plan.
They do the whole deal, and then they realize they need to buy some more time to build some dummies. And so they real quick assemble a toll booth which does not have like a fence or something surrounding it, and the people ride up to the toll booth. What? What am I missing? What did I skip over?
You skipped a lot of things.
What did I skip over?
The Nazi joke.
Which Nazi joke?
Then when they're like getting ready to ride off.
Which Nazi joke?
You do this thing where you smush two similar scenes together.
Oh, fuck me.
And you did it earlier when I was talking about one of the scenes in the sheriff's office. And then you did it again just now where you're like, yeah, this scene goes immediately after this scene. Yes, but also
yes,
there's
but no.
other halves of the story happening. And this is one of those other halves, which is they do a lineup where they're like basically like praying before they ride off to go attack the town. They're like doing a chant and a prayer or whatever, and they're all the Nazis who showed up to be part of the hired assassins are just doing the German salute.
Sie Heil.
And it was just really funny because like everyone's doing like has their head bowed and stuff, and
hat over heart or whatever, and you just get a bunch of white Germans and helmets in the back, arms straight out.
Thank you. And then also the handlebars on the horses is funny because there's a biker gang that is also signed up to be the hired mercs for this town attack, and
very clearly like a Hispanic biker gang.
And also, like, making the reference to Monty Python where they didn't actually ride horses, they just did this and clumped coconuts together. The bikers are just holding up their bike.
Until they get horses, and then they put them on the horses.
And so it's historically accurate, but it's historically not accurate at the same time, and it's really funny. Okay. Those were the two things you missed, and then we get to the
and then we build a toll booth. And the toll booth is 10 cents to pass, and they stop, and Taggart asks, does anybody have a dime? And everyone's like, rah, rah, crowd noise. And he goes, send somebody back. We need to get a shitload of dimes. And so they do. They send a runner to go back and get a shitload of dimes. And then everyone, one at a time, pays the toll to go through the toll booth. They could have gone around. The meme is terrific that they got so befuddled. And what's even better is they're not even like, it's not even like upright citizens. These are just straight up criminals. Under no circumstances would they, in normal circumstances, pay the toll. They'd go around it. But no. The plan is so silly and so dumb, it worked. It's a cartoon. The whole movie's a cartoon.
On that note, because we're not going to do a super ridiculously long podcast recording, because last time was so long, I'm not going to do that to you twice. And I know that James and I could probably talk about this end sequence for an extremely long time. So I'm going to actually encourage you to go watch the movie because it's excellent, and I think the end sequence alone warrants you watch it. But the whole gag of the end sequence is fantastic. It's some of the funniest shit I've ever seen in cinema. It's meta. It's great.
The brawl that breaks out into the studio lot.
Like, all of it.
Followed by the movie theater bit, too.
All of it is fantastic, so and you should go watch the movie and experience it for yourself, because I probably could talk for a very long time.
We could talk about it for probably a couple hours. I don't think we could accurately describe how good it actually is. So you just simply have to watch it.
And that is where we will wrap podcast for this movie. Honestly, it's a 7 out of 10 for me. It was,
God damn.
I would watch it again, and maybe like not like on purpose, but if it was on, I'd watch it. Really good. It's one of those things that I'll want to show other people because it's so good, which is why I'm telling you to go watch it.
I'm gonna watch it again for sure.
On that note, we had a tie on our live stream for our next 2 movies. So your next 4 episodes for you guys will be Castle in the Sky, followed by Bullet Train. So I've
only seen the first 30 minutes of Bullet Train.
You guys have that to look forward to. Oh, it's been a while since we've done a duo. We haven't seen it, so that'll be nice.
Yeah. I guess I'll have to lead the next episode, though.
Yeah.
Great. All right.
All right, we
Go watch Blazing Saddles again.
go watch Blazing
It's so
Saddles.
fucking funny.
Get it trending on
Get it trending on Twitter.
Amazon Prime.
I'm gonna ask my dad if he ever watched it.
Can I be there when he does? Can I? I would love that for all three of us.
I don't think my dad would be comfortable sitting through a movie that had that many racial slurs. He's a really, like, he doesn't experience the world, so I don't know if he'd be comfortable to sit there through that, honestly. I mean, he might tolerate it on account of it's a parody, but oof, I don't know. I don't know, man. I'll ask him.
I really liked this movie.
Hey, Dad, are you an unironic racist?
Oh my god.
He's not. He's a lovely man. What a good guy.
I
End the fucking stream.
This movie's actually excellent. There we go.